Hello, I'm Solomon, the king known for his wisdom and, well, a lot of wives. You might think being wise makes everything easy, but trust me, it leads to some pretty funny situations. Let me take you back to the beginning of my adventures in love. When I first became king of Jerusalem, I had everything: riches, power, and of course, wisdom. But there was one thing I didn't have: a wife. So I decided it was time to find one. My first wife was an Egyptian princess. I was so nervous when I met her that I accidentally tripped over my own robe and almost fell flat on my face. She laughed, and I knew right then that she was special. We had many fun adventures together. She once challenged me to solve a riddle, and even with all my wisdom, I got it wrong. She loved teasing me about it. We would spend hours talking and laughing, and I quickly learned that being wise didn't always help in matters of the heart. As time went on, more princesses from different lands came to Jerusalem to marry me. Before I knew it, I had many wives. Keeping track of all their names was like trying to remember the answers to 100 different riddles. One day, I called one of my wives by the wrong name during dinner. She gave me a look that could melt gold, and everyone burst into laughter. I never made that mistake again. Well, almost never. Having so many wives was more challenging than ruling the kingdom. Each wife had her own unique personality and interests. Some loved to dance, others enjoyed painting, and a few were fascinated by my collection of rare animals. It was like living in a palace filled with excitement and chaos all the time. But the real fun began when they all wanted to decorate the palace. Imagine 100 different ideas flying around. One wanted pink curtains, another preferred gold, and yet another insisted on having a giant fountain in the middle of the courtyard. I had to be a wise king and a good husband, finding a way to make everyone happy. Every day in the palace was like a big, lively festival. My many wives had different routines and interests, which often led to hilarious mix-ups. One morning, I accidentally ate a dessert meant for a celebration later that evening. It was so delicious I couldn't stop. When the cook found out, she was furious, and my wives couldn't stop laughing at the sight of me trying to apologize with my mouth full of sweets. Our meals were another source of endless fun. With so many people around the table, conversations often turned into a mix of languages and topics. Sometimes I would end up responding to a question that wasn't meant for me, and my wives would giggle at my confusion. One time I tried to impress them by cooking a special dish myself. Let's just say it didn't turn out as expected, and we all had a good laugh at my expense. In the midst of all this chaos, important events were happening in the kingdom. I was building the grand temple, and my wives had many opinions about it. One suggested adding a room just for their dance parties, while another thought a garden maze would be perfect for relaxing. Their ideas were creative, but sometimes a bit too extravagant. I had to find a balance between their wishes and the kingdom's needs, which often led to funny debates. One particularly memorable event was the great debate among my wives. They wanted to decide who was the most important. The arguments ranged from who made the best tea to who could sing the sweetest songs. I tried to keep the peace by suggesting a friendly competition, but it only made things more entertaining. In the end, they realized that each of them brought something unique and special to our lives. Life with my many wives was never dull. It was filled with laughter, surprises, and endless adventures. Despite the occasional mix-up or disagreement, we always found a way to enjoy each other's company. One day, a major issue arose that required my full attention. There were disagreements between different groups in the kingdom, and everyone looked to me for a solution. At the same time, my wives were in the middle of planning a grand festival and needed my help to make decisions. It felt like I was being pulled in 100 different directions. I called for a meeting with my advisors and wives. My advisors gave me serious, thoughtful suggestions, while my wives offered more creative and sometimes funny solutions. One wife suggested solving the kingdom's disputes with a giant dance-off. Another thought we should have a grand feast where everyone could talk things over. I couldn't help but laugh, but I also saw the wisdom in bringing people together. After much thought, I decided to combine the best ideas. We organized a grand festival with music, dancing, and a huge feast. It was a time for everyone to relax, enjoy, and talk through their differences. My wives helped with the preparations, each contributing their unique talents. It was wonderful to see everyone working together, and the festival turned out to be a great success. But that wasn't the end of our challenges. I had to address the ongoing needs of the kingdom and ensure my family was happy. One night, as we all sat together under the stars, I shared my thoughts. I told them how much I valued each of them and how their laughter and love made me a better king. They responded with understanding and support, promising to help me balance my duties. Together, we faced every obstacle with humor and heart. My wives continued to bring joy and creativity into our lives, while I used my wisdom to guide the kingdom. We learned that love and laughter were as important as wisdom in overcoming challenges. Finally, after all the challenges, we found harmony. My wives and I overcame the obstacles, and our love and respect for each other grew stronger. The palace was filled with music, laughter, and the occasional hilarious mishap, but most importantly, it was filled with love. Together we learned that with wisdom, humor, and a lot of heart, we could conquer anything. Thank you for following our story. If you enjoyed our adventure, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and share this video. Hit the bell icon to stay updated, and don't miss out on our other exciting stories and adventures. See you next time, and remember, even a wise king needs a little laughter and a lot of love.